Welcome. Today I'm talking about another 4 Scrum Master challenges. Actually, instead of 4, it's 5 today, and it is the 5th in a series talking about these challenges. Hit that like button as it really helps my channel. Let's jump in. Number 1, lack of team space. This is a common problem. Often teams are formed for the duration of a project. What happens after the project? The team is gone. Instead, an agile team, you want a team to last multiple years through multiple projects, potentially through the duration of the lifespan of a product, and even beyond. So what do you do if you don't have a team space and you're trying to get together and you're trying to actually have coherent discussion? The idea here is to give the team space that needs to actually work together in a common way and always have that open dialogue. The advice I give to you is to reach out to someone that can really advocate for your team. One example, when I was working as a consultant, I was working with this large organization, setting up a few teams, and we're going to roll out many teams later. And one of the things I talked to about is the value of having a team space and what they could do. You know what this leader did? He actually got rid of his big office and another office, took a much smaller office and turned those 2 other big offices into a team space. So the team would have one simple, focused place to work all the time. Number 2, agile meetings are not seen as valuable. Agile meetings are sometimes seen as just status updates or opportunities to tell someone else what's going on, and that's it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Agile meetings are meant to be opportunities to collaborate, to work together, to get on the same page, to be unified, to understand our blockers. All these things can be quite valuable and impactful to what is going on in the project, in the team, and ultimately to the deliverables. The advice I give you is to actually slowly help people understand and educate them on what the purpose of each of the meetings are. For example, in Scrum, the daily Scrum, the one that is done every single day, this is not a status meeting. Instead, help them understand that this is an opportunity for the team to get on the same page, to learn from each other of what's going on, where things all fit together, and if we have anything on our way. Then, as others around the team understand its value, slowly expand to teach them about the other meetings and what their purpose are and what the value gained is if they're focused. Number 3, absent product owners. The product owner is a key role and focal point for the team to understand what's going on, a connector between the team and the stakeholders, and so everybody understands what's going on, what we're trying to do, and of course the priority of that list, so we can always do the most valuable stuff first, everything else second. And if the product owner is missing, if they are absent, if they are not able to put their time into the team because maybe they're on multiple teams or they have multiple roles, they're a project manager, they're a product manager, they're a marketing person, they're an AVP, they're a ... All these things can cause a lot of problems for the team when they're trying to get answers quickly and being able to make good decisions. The advice I give to you is if you are a Scrum Master, an Agile Coach, or a team member, build a strong relationship with this product owner. This individual has a lot of authority and influence over what the team does. And you have an opportunity to really build a strong relationship through the mutual focus of the goal to build amazing things that produce great outcomes for our customers and stakeholders. So build that meaningful relationship so that the product owner wants to be there and is seen as a valuable member of this team. Number 4, multiple teams supported by a single Scrum Master. Each team needs, especially at the start, their own product owner and their own Scrum Master if you are a Scrum team. Because these roles and these duties are so important and are challenging to do well, you need people to focus on those 2 things. If the Scrum Master is actually focused on 2, 3, or 4, or even more teams, they're unable to actually give the time required to do what their main goal really is. It is not to get things done, but instead to bring about, to facilitate the support and bring out the best potential in the team, to help the team achieve excellence in how they interact, how they problem solve, what they can do. So the struggles of a Scrum Master are real if they have too many teams. The advice I give you is to work with management to allow the Scrum Master, if that is you or a member of your team, if they're the Scrum Master, invite them and encourage that manager to allow the Scrum Master to focus on one team and maybe put less energy into the second team. And to make this work, identify someone on that second team that can start shadowing you, could be supporting you, and can learn the Scrum Master role so they can become more effective and they can eventually take over that duty. So you can focus on one team and they can focus on the second team. That way, both teams get the support they needed, can take on the challenges and obstacles that are faced, and all teams will thrive. Number 5, bonus one. Constraints, constraints, constraints. In every Agile team, no matter if you're doing Agile or any other kind of focused approach, any kind of learning approach, there are constraints that must be dealt with. The challenge is some of these constraints are perceived constraints and some are actual constraints. Some are perceived and assumed that this is how things must be done. And others are actually what we can do based on the constraints that we have, such as a budget, or such as the lack of people, or such as the tools that are available to us right now. Knowing the difference between these two can make a big difference, and these constraints can really slow us down. My advice to you is to identify the difference between those things. Ask a series of questions, like using powerful questions, and find out which of these constraints are perceived and which ones are real. Identify them. Make a list of these two things. And then have a discussion with your team, your management, and whoever else you think would be valuable to include so you can start figuring out a way to removing some of them. A simple thing could be a process constraint. If we check in our code as a developer, then we must follow this step, and this step. But what if that second step or that third step is actually not a real constraint, and instead it's something that people just do because people just did it before? So challenge yourself in that way. Challenge others. Challenge your assumptions. And make sure that those assumptions are actually clear and honest. So then you can tackle those obstacles and be much more effective as a Scrum Master and a team. What do you think of my list? Did I miss any? Is there one that you think is the most important Scrum Master or Agile Coach challenge that I missed? Let me know in the comments below, as I'm trying to bring out the best content I can, and I would love to learn from you as you are learning from me. Hit that like button and subscribe to my channel as I bring in a new video each Monday to help you become the best version of yourselves as a manager, Scrum Master, coach, individual, team member, whatever that is. You can do great things, and I'll help you with techniques, tools, and approaches to get your mind and your approach and your actual behaviors into a much better place. Have a great week.